Decorative wooden ladders can cost an absolute fortune. So in this one, I'm going to show you how to make your own set for almost a £5. To make the ladders, I'm going to be using 38mm square softwood. Now these pieces measure 2.4 metres in length and there was £2.52 each. So for the two of them, it's almost a £5. I'll also be using some sandpaper, some marking tools, a handsaw and a drill. They're really simple to make. Here's how to do it. The first thing I'm going to do is measure 1.5 metres on each of the boards. Now I can get these cut to length. Now we've got the two side rails cut to 1.5 metres long, we are left with some offcuts and these will be used for the steps on the ladder. I'm going to cut these to 40 centimetres wide, so we'll be able to get 4 rungs out of this, but you can make them any width that you like. I'm just going to mark the one, cut that to length and use that as a guide for the other 3. Now we've got the rails and the steps cut to length, it's time to think about where we're going to place them. I'm going to place mine at 30cm increments, so I'm going to measure and mark at each 30cm point, and that's where these will get attached. With the positions marked out on the rails, I've also gone ahead and marked centres on each of the steps as well. That way we can butt them up next to the marks and nail them in the right place. To attach the steps to the rails, I'm going to be using 70mm screws, and I will be drilling pilot holes through the sides as well to try and stop the wood from splitting. These could have just been put together using 1 screw in each step, but by using 2, it'll prevent the steps from twisting. With the holes drilled along the first rail, we can start attaching the steps now. I'm making sure to line up the centre line with the mark on the actual rail, and then I can attach it with 2 screws. So now we've got the steps attached to the first rail, we can bring in the second rail and get them attached on this one as well. We want to make sure that we're lining up those centre marks with each of the steps. And again, I'm going to drill pilot holes first to prevent the wood from splitting. With this side done, I can turn my attention to the far side now, and then we can sort out the middle ones. Once we're at this point, the ladder construction's done and it's time to think about how you want to decorate it. You could sand it up and paint it, do maybe a bit of a water wash on it, but I'm going to try and make it look like it was an old ladder, so I'm going to try and distress it a bit. To distress the ladders, I'm going to be using a wood stain, but to try and make the wood stain stand out even more, I'm going to be using a wood screw, and this is going to help to distress the edges. I can run it along, and this will take chunks out and make it all look rough and as if it's had years and years of use. I'm also going to be using a hammer. Now a hammer will dent softwood really easily, so do be careful with it, but I'm going to concentrate the hammer blows where our feet would have fell on the ladder, so in the centre of the treads and perhaps even at the top and bottom of the ladder, because we could have been kicking it into place over years of use. And then when we put the wood stain on, those areas should be highlighted. It might not look like you've done anything once you've gone over with sandpaper, but trust me, the stain will really soak into that now. Right, now we're at the point that it's all been distressed. I've gone over it with a wood screw, I've hammered it in the places where I think it would have been worn out most, and I've gave it a really rough sanding. It still feels really rough to the touch, but this is the point that I want to get the stain on now. It's going to soak into all those rough areas, and as soon as the stain's dry, I'll be able to sand it back smooth, and it should look like a really old ladder. I'll be applying the stain with just a regular kitchen sponge. So the stain's applied, I'm going to leave it to dry, but may I suggest that you wear gloves? I thought it'd be a nice quick job, just quickly get the sponge out, get it all over, and of course I'm absolutely covered in wood stain now, so keep it in mind. If you don't want your hands looking like this, whack some gloves on. But with all that said, I'm going to leave this to dry. Once it's dry, I'm going to come back and sand it nice and smooth. I'm not going to remove a lot of material, I just want to make sure that it's not rough to the touch and there's no splinters anywhere. After sanding the ladder smooth, it's ready to add a decorative hanging plant, a towel, and even a throw. I'm really pleased with how this has turned out. I think for a fiver, well, almost a fiver, you can't go wrong. You could have gone with any decoration you like. You could have left it as the plain wood and just waxed it, added any colour paint you like, maybe a whitewasher paint, but I'm glad that I went with a rustic look. I think it does look like it's aged quite a lot, but of course it might not be to your taste, so I'll go to town with the decoration on this one. I do think this actually looks really good just to put a towel on and a throw, a bit of a decorative plant, but you could also hang up your clothes ready for the next day. I really hoped you liked this one. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. Leave a comment down below letting us know what would you have done with the ladder. Would you have painted it or would you have gone with a rustic look like I did? If you haven't subscribed to the channel already, make sure you click the subscribe button and then click the little bell icon next to it. That way you'll get a notification as soon as we upload a new video. Thank you all for watching.